Hi there, it's Lanny Donoho, and I'm here with my very first big time video blog. It's actually a vlog or a blog or some kind of podcast, something like that. And the reason we're doing this is because actually I've been watching for a long time on YouTube this guy, and I don't even want to tell you the guy's name because I don't want you to have to go over there and say, wow, Lanny's not nearly as good as that guy. Some of you probably know who I'm talking about, but if you don't, it doesn't matter. One of the things that's happened is I've watched this guy, and he talks really fast, kind of like I'm talking right now, and he tells stuff that he thinks about the news and his views of the news, and then he tells you what he likes and what he doesn't like. So I'm thinking, if he can have 350,000 to 400,000 people watch him every single day just because he tells what he thinks about what he sees on the news and what he reads on the news, I'm thinking the chances are pretty good I could have at least 40 people instead of 400,000. That's a percentage of what he gets. And if I have that many people watch this thing, then I've got some influence over some folks. And if I have some influence, then possibly I can make something good happen in the world. So here's what this thing is. We're going to put this on the blog for LannyDonoho.com, and we're going to put it on probably the BigStuf Media. If you don't know who I am, we have BigStuf Camps, BigStuf Media, BigStuf Productions. We're looking for BigStuf interns. We look for people to work for BigStuf in case you're watching this and go, wow, who's that guy? I'd like to help him out. One of the ways you could help me out is we need people. We need college students and we need people to work in our office. But that's not what this blog is about. That's just an extra for you right now. What this blog is about is my ideas about what's going on in technology, maybe stuff that you don't know that I do know, and then once I tell you what I know, you'll know it, and you'll probably come back and tell me more stuff because you watched this thing and said, gosh, I wonder if he knows about this. So that's what we're going to do. First of all, though, we tell you stuff that we've read in the news, and I saw some stuff in the news this week that I thought you might find interesting. At least I did. One thing from Monterrey, Mexico, there was a lady in a wheelchair. She'd been there for a long time. She'd been begging, probably for weeks at a time, in front of a furniture store on a particular street in Mexico. And all of a sudden, one day, she throws a rock through the furniture store window, and people are going, what's she doing? And she had an accomplice, and the accomplice was going to go into the furniture store. Of course, it was closed. Through the broken glass that she had broken with the rock, rob something. I don't know what you can rob when you go through a glass window of a furniture store because you can't pick up a couch or a chair. Anyway, people saw her. The guy from the furniture store runs. She sees that people are coming after him. She gets up out of the wheelchair and runs. Now, she's been in the wheelchair for weeks, and people thought she was a beggar because she'd been in there asking for money. That's how she made her living for a long time. And all of a sudden, when she's going to get caught by the cops, she gets up and runs. So she takes off, and the police are pretty quick because they're thinking, she might come back to get her wheelchair. And sure enough, a few days later, she comes back to get her wheelchair, and now the lady's in jail. Because I'm thinking, if I saw the lady sitting in a chair, and all of a sudden 4 or 5 weeks later, she throws a rock and then gets up and walks, it's either a miracle or the lady deserves some kind of award. So we'll give her the, oh look, it's the Coconut Monkey Award. So we're going to send this to the lady if we can find out what jail in Mexico she's in. Another story was in Colony or Colonia, I'm not sure which is called, New York. A father and a son, they're going to get the big Stuff Award. We're going to give away a big award and a Stuff Award. They get the big award because the father and son actually stole tombstones. 600-pound tombstones. They had 600-pound tombstones, and I'm thinking they deserve a big award because how do you pick up a 600-pound tombstone, 6 of them, and put them in your truck? And then once you do that, you've got 3,600 pounds in your truck. How did you keep your truck from doing that right there and not being able to control it all? Anyway, they're both in jail right now as well, and they're going to get the big award from the BigStuf Awards just because the idea to have the initiative to steal tombstones, because I'm wondering, who's going to buy the tombstones on the side of the road from a guy who has tombstones? By the way, they didn't steal them from the graveyard. They stole them from the tombstone manufacturer. So they get that award. And then a guy named Stanley Carter, he gets our Stuff Award because Stanley was living with some friends and they kicked him out. But when they kicked him out, he left and went up into the attic. And the attic was also part of another attic because it was a duplex that he was living in with his friends. And so he goes over into the other part of the duplex, lives in that attic for a while, until finally one day the lady that lived in that side of the duplex sees some muddy shoe prints on the carpet. She calls the police and says, hey, I think somebody's in my attic. And sure enough, when they come, they find Stanley Carter, who's actually been there for a number of days. It's right before Christmas this past year. And Stanley has his own Christmas list. He's made Stanley's Christmas list, actually titled it, and he's stolen cash and clothes and some other stuff from the people's house. And those were the things that were on his Christmas list. So Stanley just had the nerve to sit up inside somebody's attic for a long time. By the way, when they caught him, he said, gosh, it was just nice and peaceful up there, and I'm sorry if I did anything wrong. I just liked it up there. Stanley, you get the BigStuf Award because you took stuff and I don't even know why I would give him an award. He doesn't get an award. I just thought it was an interesting news story. One more story, really interesting, I think. A little baby named Tariq Griffin was born January the 1st, 2009, just a week ago from when I made this thing. He was born at 12:17 a.m. He also happened to have a twin, and his twin's name is Terrence. Terrence was born 26 minutes earlier. This is one of those cool stories because as they grow up, they get to say, we're twins, but we were born on different days in different years. Think about that for just a second. Here's another thing, a question for you, and you can answer this question if you want. We'd love your response. I saw this on another site, so it's not original, but I would like to hear your responses. So if your responses are really good, I can actually write in to the place where I saw it and maybe win some money. So here's a question for you to write into me so I can write it back to somebody else so I can win some money. Thought-provoking question. Is it ever wrong to do the right thing? Is it ever wrong to do the right thing? If you've got a great answer for that, send it in an essay form. Tell me why you think it might be wrong to do the right thing at a particular time. Last thing, we've been watching the news a lot, and I've just been thrilled with watching the whole thing. I'm from Illinois, and I've been watching the governor of Illinois, Blagojevich. Great name, great hair. Money exchanging hands in order to get a Senate seat filled where Barack Obama was. Speaking of Barack Obama, let me just tell you this real quick. BigStuf Events just was asked to give a bid for the big inaugural ball. There are 5 different balls, one with Justin Timberlake and one with Beyonce going to be in there, and we've been asked to bid to do the technical stuff. Big deal thing for us. Just thought I'd let you know that. Meanwhile, back to Blagojevich, I just think that it's a cool thing that he has that name. I don't think if he had another common name like Smith or Jones, there would be nearly as much media coverage on it. But because newscasters love to go, how do you spell that thing? Blagojevich, it's got a J in it. Blagojevich. How do you spell that? Because he's just got great hair. I keep looking at my hair going, if I could have Blagojevich's hair. All right, we're gonna leave this with you. That's the end of it for today. It's our first blog, B-log, whatever you'd like to call it, podcast. We'd love your responses. We're gonna start telling you all kinds of stuff about what's going on with BigStuf. 143 days left until the first one in June in Panama City. 192 days and 20 hours left until the first one in Daytona Beach. Love to have you sign up if you haven't done that. If you haven't looked at BigStufMedia.com, you need to go there and see some stuff that's a lot cooler than this. Download it, and then we'll see you next time we make one of these BigStuf blogs. Take care. Have a great day. That's all I've got for you.